Okay, we've arrived at the original crossing cottage plus a side extension on the Longdon Road, and that's all original. So apart from extensions on this side, that's a latching post. That's a double latching post for the two crossing gates, and over there, that's the hanging post on this side. A huge white gate hung on there, and then that post would have been copied over here, but it's gone, and then there'd have been a latching post somewhere there. So the gates actually opened in opposition to each other, depending on whether it's open for the train or open for the road. And this is the way through to Longdon Road station, so we'll have a good look at that. Quite a pleasant day today, but it's a cold wind. Has been for the last few days. Here we are. Looks like the rabbits have been busy, so we'll try not to tread in any rabbit holes. Make your way across here. Looks like there's a boundary fence down there, but it's difficult to tell how much of it's railway and how much is no, there's stock fencing on that. I think some of it is. The concrete posts probably are, but not all of that's original railway boundary. So what do we have remaining of the infrastructure on this particular site? Let's go around behind these bushes. We've still got the eastern end of the platform, minus coping stones. And just help yourself to those. A little bit closer, there's the taper. This is the eastern end of the platform. Shipston-on-Stour is on the way down there, 3 or 4 miles. And it's all the way back there. So what we'll do, we'll put a photo for some sort of context from about here. So we're very close to where the station building would have been, and immediately you can see at least half of the platform has gone missing. It would have started to curve somewhere here and then run up to the right hand side of the crossing cottage, and that's all been grubbed out, so that's all disappeared. Okay, we'll go back through this way. Look up here. And you can see by where the soil's all been disturbed how much of the platform's actually been grubbed out. It's at least half of it, could be even more. Oops, avoid those rabbit holes. If we look from back here, again towards the east, you can see the corrugated tin shed. That's where they kept parcels and belongings, obviously to be transported or picked up. And the railway station building on the end, the sign in between the two buildings says Longdon Road for Ilmington. Well, Ilmington's, I suppose, a bit more than a mile to the west of here. So What we'll have a look at now is this brick structure at the back of the platform, which had a few people scratching their heads, but this is starting to fall apart quite dramatically now. You can see down in there, look how that wall's curved. Something going on there. No, it actually is curved. It was meant to be curved, okay. And turn around here a little bit. Look across the back. And you can see those long tie rods, those long bent tie rods. They were installed when this structure was built. And there's an arch. That's a purely decorative arch. And there's a huge pile of what's left of that back wall in there. There's another arch back there. And you can see the remnants of an arch on that side. And the remnants of an arch on that side. So it was its purpose was to support the back of the railway station building, the main building, made of wood. All three station buildings, that's Shipston-on-Stour, Longdon Rd, this one, and Shipston-on-Stour, were all the same design. Designed in the Emmett style. J.T. Emmett was a Scottish architect, and I'm told they were designed in a style that he would have used. So there we have it. We'll have a look at the back of this, if I can get to it. And when we do, I'll put up a photograph to show what it looked like when it was intact. And then when you see the photograph, it all starts to make some sense. It's, to be honest, rather a flimsy structure in my mind, but then I suppose if it's supporting a wooden building, then it doesn't have to be that solid. There's another tie rod through there. So they put tie rods on the ends, on the short sides, and on all across the back. They put tie rods in as they built it, obviously for extra strength the building up. But the question is, in my mind, why did it fall down? So before we venture around the back, what was going on the other side of the crossing cottage? Well, this photograph gives you some idea. You can see the spur that was constructed between 1882 and 1889 that runs off to the left behind the crossing cottage, and that joins the old tramway down to Shipston-on-Stour and Morton in the Marsh. There's a little siding off that spur with a buffer beam and some open ground to the side of that, and that was a little goods yard. I don't know what they stored there, just odds and ends I suppose. Whatever was destined for Shipston-on-Stour probably. And then behind the buffer beam you can see a white structure that's basically blocking off what was the original branch line, the old tramway up to Darlingscut that was opened in 1836. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what was going on here. So we'll make our way around the back, and as I say, we'll see if we can have a look at this supporting wall at the back. Okay, we've got two concrete gate posts there, both with gate hooks. I think that was the pedestrian access point off the road onto the platform. Next to it's another concrete post. A little bit of lean on all the concrete posts. That's got a piece of timber on the front of it, you can see that. And that I suspect was a picket fence that ran along the top of the wall, obviously to prevent people tumbling over the side. So we'll make our way carefully down here, if we can. And here you can see the start of the Rather impressive supporting wall with cracks. So even that's starting to look a little bit worse for wear. Carries on down here. Ooh. More rabbit holes. I can get a little bit farther away from it because it's a little bit difficult to see just how tall that is. We're currently at what, 10 feet high? As it carries on over there. Probably, it drops into a ditch here. There's a ditch. See that? There's water running through there. Water running with a culvert. And carries on through there. And joins up with the structure that was supporting the back of the railway station building. I don't know if we can get through there to have a look at it, but we'll certainly have a try. Okay, I'm coming close now to the back of the brick structure, and if you can see those sheet piles in there holding the bank up back, they are in pretty poor condition, and they go all the way along here. They're not looking good either. They are rusting out. So sooner or later all that lot up there is going to end up out here. Oh, they are in a bad state. Yep, they've just about had it. Look at all the stone they're holding back. Look at that. Crikey. They've about had it. Not going to be very long before they give way. They wouldn't want to be this side when they do. Look at all those retaining walls up there. Crikey. A lot of effort to hold that lot back, isn't it? Wow. Okay, so we're now at the back of that brick structure, complete with its tie rods. There's one of the pillars. And that's not looking very good at all, is it? As I say, tie rods went in when it was built. There's extra insurance against it falling down. But it still fell down. Or did it? Okay, I'll move back a little bit and we'll get a shot of that, and we'll put up the picture again of this back wall complete. There we are, that's a view of the whole structure. Back wall, and this picture shows what it looked like when it was all intact. And the guy that took me, a friend of mine, Mark Turner, it tells me he took this photograph. So there you have it. 1 minute it's okay, the next minute it's like that. Most odd. There's the large stone retaining wall that butts up to it. That's holding up pretty well, thankfully. But you wonder how long for. And there we are, that's Longdon Road Station. Okay, leaving the eastern end of the station platform behind then, and just going to have a wander down here and see what we can find. First thing, pheasant feeder. Definitely not railway. Forget that one. Rabbits, as you'd expect. Somebody trying to shoot me. Yeah, there's not a lot going on down here, I don't think. missed. There is the butt end of a telegraph pole there. That could very well be railway. Hollow in the top. Interesting. This embankment seems to go on quite a long way past the station. There is a fence of sorts down there, but concrete posts. No doubt that was railway. You can see the line wires in it, but somebody's planted a hedge in with it as well by the looks of it, so can't really see what state it's in. It's difficult to film and avoid rabbit holes at the same time. Now, what would that have had attached to it? Gradient marker, perhaps? Could well be. It's a white post. Is it a broad gauge rail? It is indeed. That could well be the remains of a gradient marker then. That's a good find. An awful lot of rabbits here now. Just when you begin to settle into a rhythm, it's blocked off. Can we get through that lot with a pheasant feeder? Right, I'll shut down a minute and take evasive action. Right, evasive action successful, and we're off again. Still seeing a few concrete fence posts, but most of them look as if they've got concrete cancer bits falling off all over the place. So we might be coming to a halt just here. In a minute, we'll soon find out. Oh no, I think we can probably get through there with a bit of luck. And another butt end of a telegraph pole. That's definitely railway then. There you go, hollow on the top again. Got the hollow all the way down. Right, I'm going to shut off a minute and another evasive manoeuvre. This is turning into a real obstacle course now. Still making progress towards Shipston, but trees and bushes ain't giving this one up easily. And yet another pheasant feeder. Not seeing much else. Descend. the holes in the ground are getting bigger. Oh, that's nothing. Probably used to be a badger, possibly. It's all full of leaves now, though. And yet another telegraph pole stump. Right. Got bramble to contend with now. I'll shut off a minute and fight my way through that lot. And some track ballast showing through there. Just in that one spot. So we'll look towards the east again. And it's fight your way through everything at the moment. In fact, I think we're probably coming to the point. Oh no, hang on. Never say never. Oh, we put that there. Right. Some kind soul has opened all this up. And we're still going. So what we got in there? Let's zoom in a little bit on that. Concrete post and strut. You see the line wire, the eye bolts running through it. There you go. Move back out again. And somebody's been in here clearing a path. Oh goody. Still going. Here we go then. This is the point where I think we're going to have to call a halt to this particular route march. Yeah, and that's all well filled in over there, look. Somebody's used a railway slipper as a corner straining post there. So that's let's try and see where we are. Okay, well I reckon we're about a couple of 100 yards from the next target, so that's a shame we couldn't get right the way through, but there you go. These things are sent to try you. We'll call a stop there and head for the next point of interest. Okay, that's the way we've just come. I don't know whether you can see that stone trough up the side of the field there. That's about as far as we got. So we're about another couple of 100 yards from the back garden of this property. And there's the gable end of the original crossing cottage facing the road. This one's had quite a makeover and I can't see a lot from here, so I'll just go the other side of the property and we'll have a quick look at it from the other side. Don't want to disturb their privacy, and also we'll have a little look at the rather nice nameplate on the wall by the door. That commemorates the original purpose of the building. Really nice. Well, we don't have an original photograph of the crossing cottage, but we do have a photograph of the crossing gates just being put into operation to shut the road off. This then is the Foss Road railway crossing. Okay, there's the Foss Road crossing point then, looking west, and we're Turning back once again to the east, and we're going to follow this section of track bed heading in the direction of Shipston-on-Stour again, and Shipston's now only 2 miles ahead, so let's see what progress we can make down this section, see if we can find anything of interest. We're on a slight embankment, and rather windy out there, so I'm hoping we get some a decent soundtrack. Well, there's the first obstacle in front of us. I'm seeing a railway fence out there. Just let me negotiate this here tree. There you go, there's concrete post line wires, typical GWR boundary fence. Right, successfully over that one. Ground's very uneven here. Don't know whether that's previous rabbit activity or what. Somebody seems to be keeping this particular section open though, which is good, apart from the odd bramble that's growing back in. I reckon we'll get roughly half a mile down here, maybe a bit more, if the ground permits, or the brambles permit. We've gone slightly off the track bed now. Somebody's definitely keeping this open as a kind of a footpath. And here we have our first bit of railway. Stumbled fallen off telegraph pole. And that, I believe, is tramway. That's a large stone set that had a chair in it, a rail chair. And that's the first one of those I've seen on the whole walk. That's a very good find. Right, we'll press on if we can. Opening up again now. Moving about it's a little bit easier. Or at least it is at the moment. That's the remnants of another telegraph pole. That's railway. Obviously more track bed now. You can see the ballast in amongst all the other stuff. Stop a second for a quick look at that. I think that's just a breeze block. It is. Okay. Moving on. I seem to have gone over on one side of the track bed again. On a slightly steeper embankment now. You can see that down in there. Yeah. Okay. Still making progress. There's a huge chunk of iron slag there, look at that. And there. Several great big lumps of it. Wow. Okay. Still making progress. And definite track bed here, you can see that down there. All that slag, various sizes. Embankment seems to be getting a little bit steeper yet. Still nice and open, thankfully. Apart from the booby trap brambles lying in wait. And the embankment's definitely getting steeper now. I can find an open spot. Definitely getting steeper. See down there, see the fence post in the bottom, and that's got pig wire on it, so that's not original. I think it's pig wire and barbed wire, so the line wires have gone off it now. Still proceeding well though. And the ever present, it would seem, pheasant feeder. Nice bit of blue sky and sunshine at the moment after the last few days of high winds and blooming torrential rain. It's been horrendous. Nice to get out of the house. What are we doing now? Oh, starting to look a little bit windblown. Mind you, after the last couple of days, I'm not surprised. Right, gonna have to divert round that lot. Yep, that looks like the preferred footpath. If we can get through it, I have a feeling we're probably coming to the end as far as accessibility is concerned. Oh, now there's a bit of a surprise. Look down there, look falling down there. Definitely a railway bridge. I don't desperately want to go in there. Fence across. See if we can get through that lot. And we're going to sign out for a second. Here we are then. Looks a bit dodgy just over the top of the arch, but that's definitely railway, I believe. And this, I believe, also is the River Stour. It's not looking too good over there, is it? A little bit decrepit. Probably can't see the other end without falling in. Just going to swing round. Yeah, you just can. So that's nice, that's a good find. Maybe you couldn't miss that with the noise of the water. There we are. Showing what you come across and what you don't expect. Lovely. Shot of the river on the other side. Unfortunately, can't get down to the portal that side because of all that lot. But never mind. We've had a good look at the other side. Remnants of another telegraph pole there. Again, railway. And there's been some shoring up done here by the looks of it on the top of the embankment. Large lumps of iron slag all the way along there, and we have run out of luck. And that's impenetrable thorn bushes, brambles, and God knows what else. But I think we're very near the end of the actual remaining track bed for this section, because somewhere just through there agricultural's taken over and the track bed's ploughed out, and that's down to the A429 Foss Way. So there we are. That was an interesting adventure. See if we can find anything on the way back. And another stone set from the old tramway days. And a rail chair sat in the top of there. Don't know what they plugged those with, lead perhaps, maybe an oak plug. But yeah, that's an old piece of technology there. Wonderful. Okay, for safety reasons I decided that this particular shoot is going to be a drive-by. Approaching now the penultimate crossing cottage, number 8, good condition. Here it goes, and the reason this is just too risky to park anywhere near there. This particular crossroads is notorious as an accident black spot. And this is crossing cottage number 9, the last one on the line before Shipston-on-Stour. So all the crossing cottages are present and correct, intact and lived in. Quite remarkable. Right, before we proceed any further, I thought we'd have a quick look, a quick progress report on this particular section from Longdon Rd down to crossing cottage number 9 and beyond to Shipston-on-Stour railway station. As you can see from the dotted lines on the satellite image, there's not an awful lot of track bed left beyond crossing cottage number 9. It's a little bit gone on the other side back towards Longdon Rd where I am at the moment, but as I say, most of the line from number 9 to Shipston is gone back into agricultural use. So the next thing we need to do is to put up a satellite image of the Shipston-on-Stour railway station site as was, and as you can see, it's all going to want a little bit of deciphering. Fortunately, there are clues, and this is going to be quite an interesting little excursion. So let's press on, and I'll meet up with you again in Station Road, Shipston-on-Stour. Okay, Station Road, Shipston-on-Stour. And this is our first big clue as to exactly where the railway terminated. This terrace of houses, I've got a photograph I'll put up now, taken in at the end of the Victorian era, and it shows this terrace, and way in the distance in the background behind that little group of children is the railway station building. So we need to head up there and have a look, see what's about. Okay, there's the terrace of houses in the centre of the picture, and I'll pan slowly round. Station Road carries on up there, and all the way around. We're now in the beginnings of Railway Crescent, and pan back out again. Somewhere at this point would have been the railway station building, and the station goes on up off to the north through those trees. I'll just put a photograph up now. This shows the railway building, station building, and the buffers, the buffer beam at the end of the line. And if you look closely, you'll also notice there's a set of passing loop points, and notice how close they are to the buffer beam. which meant for passenger service they could only use short wheelbase locomotives, 060, 060 or 062T type locomotives, which rather limited the number of carriages they could haul. So that's another interesting point, and we'll have another look at that from the opposite end if I can get up there. We'll have a sort of kind of a walk through the station as it was back in the day. Okay, I'm moving up the east side of the old station site now, and not looking good, is it? Very overgrown. Can't see a thing through there, but if we can gain access it might improve a bit on the inside. In fact, it might improve just here. I'm just going to shut down a minute to make sure I don't damage the camera going through all these thorn bushes. Okay, we're off to a good start then. I'm actually on the track bed now. There's the railway boundary fence on the west side, and we are inside it. The line wires are on the outside of that post. Carries on down there, not in the best of condition, but this, on a very slight embankment, is the approach to Shipston-on-Stour railway station. So probably the best thing to do, because we're not going to get very far through here, is I'll put up a series of photographs and explain exactly how the station was laid out, and try to explain exactly what piece of infrastructure did what. So you'll have to bear with me on this one. I will try and move to a different location if I can, but I'll put up the first photograph, and as I say, I'll explain exactly what goes on, or what went on at Shipston-on-Stour station. Okay, the first thing you'll see on the approach to Shipston Station is this signboard, this notice board. All trains or engines must stop here and proceed only when driver is instructed by station staff. There was no signal box at Shipston Station. All the points changes were done by members of staff using ground frame levers. At the top of the picture, in the middle and the centre, you can see the engine shed. We'll have a bit of a closer look at that in a minute. And on the top left hand corner you can see the goods shed, and just in front of it is a little permanent way hut. Telegraph pole there, obviously for communication. Centre is the railway fence, the railway boundary fence, the one we're actually standing next to right now, in fact. A little further on down the track then, towards the station building, you can see the engine shed on the right hand side. That was apparently very little used. There was no engine based at Shipston, and that was more used as a workshop. In fact, the GWR were operating road transport services out of there around the 1930s, early 1930s. That was basically used as a maintenance depot for that purpose. Behind the engine shed you can see the Shipston-on-Stour gasworks. You can see the gas holder almost full. Over to the right hand side is the goods shed, and just in front of that you can now see the cattle pens. The long siding which runs down past the engine shed goes down to the gasworks. Way over in the background you can see some original houses from Station Road in Shipston. And there's a locomotive parked just in entrance to the goods shed with what looks like a piece of agricultural machinery on a flatbed wagon, and main freight commodities running in and out of Shipston Station would have been coal, coke, hay, straw, livestock, building stone, machinery, and for Warwickshire County Council stone chippings and bitumen. They were also, of course, part of the post office parcel service between the various stations. Back at the station site then, and you may recognise this little locomotive from the video at Shipston-on-Stour Station road crossing that was running the SLS rail tour. SLS standing for Stevenson Locomotive Society, based in Oxford, and that locomotive has drawn down to the buffers. It's been uncoupled, and then the points have been changed, and it's run round the train and back onto the main line. It's being recoupled, and it will haul those carriages back to Morton-in-the-Marsh, running tender first. I think a lot of the photographs that I've been able to use of Shipston were actually taken by the members of that Stevenson Locomotive Society on that particular rail tour, so a huge thank you to them for preserving the railway in its active days. Being a main station, of course, the station building would have been fitted with a canopy. The building was the same Emmet style as Shipston-on-Stour Station and Longdon Rd station. The site was supplied, as you've seen, with an engine shed. This was never used for locomotive storage. It was supposed to have been supplied also with a water tower, but it was discovered on examination that the water at Shipston-on-Stour was unsuitable for locomotive boilers, so it could only ever be used as for washouts. So the trains coming from Morton had to remember to fill up at the water tower at Morton before they set off for Shipston-on-Stour, otherwise they'd run dry. There's a railway then, coming in from behind that hill. It's all the way down there, and then swings in a wide arc to the south and runs down through there into Shipston Station. And that is a brief history of Shipston-on-Stour railway station. Opened in 1836 as a horse-drawn tramway station, part of the Morton and Stratford tramway. Upgraded and reopened in 1889 as part of the Shipston-on-Stour branch line, owned and operated by the Great Western Railway Company. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and have we reached the end of the line? Well, not quite. Thought we'd end this one on a positive note, so we'll just go back round into Station Road and have a look at something very interesting. Back on the site of the station building then, and we need to walk up this other section of Station Road, and just up here is something rather interesting. Looking through this gate, over there next to that caravan, there it is. That's the original Weybridge office admin building, and that's all the only infrastructure that remains. This is the yard for the railway station building, and just up here, on a little bit further, that little white cottage there is associated with the railway, but that's where the guy in charge of the Shipston gasworks lived. And I'm told his son still owns it, although he doesn't live there anymore. So, yeah, and that's the only infrastructure relating to the railway That's left.